What's that? Well, good evening, everyone. As you can see, we've decided to take the bubble tent out onto a frozen lake. After sleeping in the bubble tent through a snowstorm and -0°F temperatures, which was a beautiful experience. And if you haven't seen that video, I'll link it in the description. But I began to think of other scenarios where it would be fun to sleep in a clear see-through tent just for the experience of it. And I've always wanted to camp on a frozen lake. Well, just a week ago, we were experiencing negative temperatures. The night I camped out in this bubble tent, it was -8°. Here we are a week later, and today it got up in the 60s. So the surface of the lake, as you've probably already seen, is a little bit slushy here and there. But as I made my way out on the lake, I kept drilling holes 6 inches deep, and I never was able to drill through the ice. So it's at least 6 inches. I don't know how much more it is than that, but 6 inches is plenty for me. The weather forecast was right, even though tomorrow night we're supposed to get a blizzard. Wyoming weather. But I'm all set up and ready for a beautiful night under the stars, and I've got some chili going here on the stove, and I'm going to be eating for dinner a Midwestern classic. Can you guess what it is? Those of you from the Midwest, I'm preparing chili on a frozen lake. What else am I going to be eating with it? Go ahead and take a guess in the comments if you want to, before I reveal it when the chili is done. But I didn't do much narration, not that I necessarily would have anyway, making my way out onto the lake and doing my setup, mainly because there was some obnoxious people blaring some foul music across the lake. I just don't understand it. I just don't. So it wasn't very peaceful during my setup, but they have gone. There's not a single soul on the lake. The ice fishermen have all left. And here I am with my bubble tent, my chili, and something else we're gonna eat. Okay, so the chili is hot. Now, what goes with chili in the Midwest? Well, it goes with chili anywhere. Here it is. Ta-da! Chili and cinnamon rolls. Do you eat chili and cinnamon rolls? Have you ever tried it? People that don't understand this combination will ask, what do you put the chili on the cinnamon roll? You certainly could do that, but the best way to do it is take a bite of cinnamon roll and then chase it with a bite of chili. If this combination seems odd to you, you just have to think of sweet and salty, like they put salt in dark chocolate, like dipping your French fries in chocolate shakes. Ooh, that's a good one. Well, I'm not going to make you guys sit here and watch me eat, so I'm going to finish up my chili and cinnamon rolls, and I'll show you my setup, and we'll get ready to tuck in for the night. I got up to get something to drink, and look how fast the surface freezes in 60 seconds of video sped up to 10 seconds. though it's pretty dark outside, I'll give you a tour of the setup here. So you already saw the pulk sled. That's a DIY pulk sled that I built primarily for pulling in the snow and going snow camping, but it worked well for this application. And we've got the tent set up over here. Right now I've got a little LED light just balancing on the end of my tripod there. Little table outside my front door, a nice comfortable chair to sit in. And then the tent, you can see I have adorned with LED lights, which is a pretty nifty little setup. I found these string lights that coil up into a little container and they plug them in and charge them, and they're supposed to last for like 6 to 8 hours. So I just drape those around the tent to give a little ambient light. And then come on into my cozy cocoon. Got my down sleeping bag here, which will be plenty for this evening. I think it's only supposed to get down into the 30s, maybe the upper 20s. So I'll be roasty toasty warm. I've got my sleeping pad inside my sleeping bag. Fits in there perfectly, that way it doesn't squirt out from underneath you. And then I thought it would be good, as you saw earlier when I set it up, the cot that'll keep me up off of the ice. And I laid a quilt down underneath the cot. Just a little extra insulation between the ice and me. There's the little coil up case that holds all these LED lights. You just roll it up like a tape measure. Very nifty little setup. I link all my gear in my description usually, so if you're interested in any of these items, you can check them out there. And then very simple setup for tonight. I always like to have, even though I'm not running any heat, I always have my CO alarm, and it also has temperature and humidity. So it's showing 5 degrees, 4 degrees Celsius. But then I also have indoor-outdoor thermometer, which it's the same indoor as it is outdoor presently, 33 degrees Fahrenheit. A flashlight, a USB battery pack to keep my phone charged and anything else that needs charged. And that's the whole setup right there. But it's only 7 o'clock, way too early to turn in. Beautiful night out here under the stars. So what do you do when you're camping out on a frozen lake? Well, I think we should have a campfire. Okay. Fire and ice. Oh, this is nice. So the video I posted a couple weeks ago where I slept in the bubble tent in a snowstorm and minus 8 degree Fahrenheit temperatures, which is like, I don't know, minus 22 Celsius or something like that. There were a lot of people that really enjoyed that video, but there were several people in the comments that were a little bit freaked out about sleeping in a clear tent. And I don't really see this tent as a regular camping tent that you would use to go like regular camping, like to a campground for the weekend and set up a tent and camp in a camp spot, because, well, it's see-through. Everybody sees everything. I think of it more as cowboy camping, where you're sleeping out under the stars. People do that. I've done that. Slept on the peak of a mountain under the stars in nothing but a sleeping bag, and you look up and you see the beautiful scenery and you're just out in the open. I love that kind of camping, except when there's bugs. But I kind of see this bubble tent as that sort of an experience. It's kind of a one-off experience. It's kind of a different kind of experience where you're kind of cowboy camping in the sense that you're out in clear view of all your surroundings, yet you have some shelter. You have shelter against the breeze. You have shelter against the bugs. In this case, you have shelter against the cold. It's kind of like putting a sunroom on your house, so you can sit out there in all different kinds of conditions outside, but be surrounded by the outdoors. That's why I like this tent. It's not a tent I would take for normal weekend camping, but definitely to sleep out in a snowstorm, to sleep in minus 0 degree temperatures, to sleep on a frozen lake under the stars, where you can just look out, look up all night long. It'll feel a lot like I'm just sleeping out on a frozen lake. That's why I like it. And of course, that's not for everybody, but I'm definitely not trying to present or promote this tent as a regular camping tent. One other element to it, because it is sealed up, if you're going to use any kind of heat source, like I used a diesel heater to heat it, during the snowstorm, you need to have a CO monitor and alarm. And I have that even tonight, even though I'm not going to use any heat source in there. This tent, although it seals up pretty good, the seams, it's not completely airtight. So you're getting air in there. There's a screen window at the end of the tent. I'll leave that unzipped just a little bit. I can unzip the door just a little bit, but I'll leave some airflow in there just for condensation. So anyway, we have our shelter. We have our minimum of 6 inches of ice. We have a beautiful night under the stars. We have a campfire. We're only missing one thing. Yep, you guessed it, s'mores. Oops. Ooh. Oh, it is so peaceful out here. Hardly a breeze at all. I'm on a frozen lake. In 24 hours, there's supposed to be a blizzard happening right here. And here I am, enjoying a beautiful evening, a campfire on the ice. I'll tell you one thing, I am blessed. Ooh. Oh no, I'm gonna melt the lake. Stay in there. Well, I think I'm gonna let this burn down and I'm gonna turn in for the night. What was that? Okay, so I'm in my sleeping bag, but I'm laughing because I just gave myself a heart attack. So sleeping on a frozen lake is a little bit spooky. You know, I did my research. I checked the ice. It's plenty thick. Yeah, it was getting slushy on the very surface because of the warm temperatures we had the last 2 days. The ice is still solid as a rock. I have absolutely no concerns. But you're still sleeping on a frozen lake, out in the middle of a frozen lake. And I was just now crawling into my sleeping bag, and there was a huge crack, and my cot dropped where I was sitting. Yeah, to say my heart rate jumped up a bit is an understatement, but what it was, one of the plastic brackets on the leg of my cot cracked and partially buckled, and I dropped. Whew, that'll wake you up. I don't know if I'll be going to sleep anytime soon now, but anyway, all is good. Okay guys, it's been a beautiful day and a beautiful evening, and I'm ready for a good night's sleep under the stars. Check out these stars. Good night. Good morning, everyone. I slept on a frozen lake. Wow. Well, it's very cozy here in my sleeping bag, but sun is arising and it's time to get up and make some breakfast. Oh, what a beautiful morning for a hot cup of coffee? No, I don't drink coffee. A nice hot cup of Swiss Miss Rich hot cocoa mix. Yeah. Beautiful morning for a walk on the ice with some hot cocoa. Well, even though I'm not a coffee or a tea drinker, I get it. That hot drink really warms up the core. This is just another bucket list item for camping spots for me. For whatever reason, I've always wanted to camp on a frozen lake. The geese, there's some open water on the lake here and there. That's where the geese generally hang out all night long. Every once in a while, the geese would start honking. It was pretty cool. A few times it sounded like they were really close, and I thought, wonder if they're coming over to check out what is this weirdo doing out here on the lake. But no, I didn't have any visitors all night. And I'm going to show you how this tent folds up because it is a puzzle. I had to watch the tutorial video where they demonstrate it slowly, how to coil it back up and get it back in the round, flat pancake shape and get it in the bag. But I think I finally have it mastered. So I'm going to demonstrate and show you. Once you understand how it works, then it's super simple. So hang tight and I will show you that. The condensation in the tent wasn't bad at all. I had it unzipped just a hair at the window and at the door. I think that helped keep it to a minimum. It also meant it didn't stay real warm in the tent. It was just a couple degrees warmer in the tent than it was outside. So last night I took a little hand towel and I wiped away the condensation about 1 o'clock in the morning just above my head. And lo and behold, there was the Big Dipper just perfectly framed right above me with millions of other stars surrounding it. I pressed my phone up on the ceiling of the tent to see what kind of picture I could get, and here's what I was looking at. But wow, can you believe we're sitting here on this frozen lake and the forecast for tonight is a blizzard with up to 10 inches to a foot of snow. I mean, my tent is bolted to the ice pretty well. Maybe I should just stay. Well, I'm going to finish up this wonderful and warm breakfast here, and then we're going to break camp. Oh, yeah. Right up under here where this spring bar is under tension, it cracked right there. The good news is, I think I might be able to repair that. The bad news is I also need to eat less. Through the shadows, through the dark. This is the coolest little light. I think it was like 15 bucks or something like that on Amazon. Pulls out like a tape measure. It's got all these different color settings and flashing and different colors. Hook on the end. It's got a flashlight on here. You can light up the LEDs on this side. USB rechargeable, or you can use it to charge your phone. Time to find out how our ice screws held. Perfect. Okay, I finished unbolting this from the ice, and now I will show you how it folds up. If you're good at origami, you might be able to pick it up pretty quick. First thing you do is you zip it mostly shut, but you leave room for it to breathe. Same thing on the window back there. Then I like to take the guy lines, gather them up, and bring them together in the middle here. Then I just kind of tie a simple loop knot here to keep them from all getting tangled up and in the way. Ooh, it's a little bit melty. There's a really weird sound coming from over there. Kind of like a high-pitched gurgling noise. Stick around, I might be going through the ice yet. Okay, see how many tries this takes me. What you want to have ready is this black strap and the bag, and then you pick the tent up, tip it over so that the bottom is against you. The next step is to push this loop down to the loop on the other side. Now, this side over here, you lay down toward the middle. This side, you tuck. You don't go down toward the middle like you did here. You tuck it underneath like that. So this one over this way, that one over that way. Then you bring the left side or your right side over the top, and you end up with a pretty big circle. That is not gonna fit in that bag. So there's one more step. You stand up your circle and you squish it down and do a figure 8. And you fold the figure 8 in half. That's it. Don't ask me to do it again. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, we're okay. We still have our big circle. I got too careless. Okay, when you're to this stage, you have a small circle, and that's why you want to have this black strap handy, because you have to pull it over, lay it down, work that strap around, voila, put it in the bag. And that is actually pretty easy to do because they made the bag plenty big, which is a rare thing with tents. And the final move, zip it shut. 139 bucks on Amazon. That's a bargain if you ask me. So here's where I had my fire. And there's where the tent was. Oh, I'd say in some spots, maybe an inch of water. So it melted a little bit. That was with the tent pitched, 16 hours. Okay, I survived. Now I'm gonna get hooked up to the pulk sled and I'm gonna make the trek back to solid ground.
Don't be scared.
Solid ground. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Don't be scared of the unknown. I am with you where you go. You'll find your way back.